Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We have been evaluating documents that have been released to the public for the very first time in the matter styled as Idaho versus Kohberger within the past few weeks. We've been providing opinions, we've been providing comments. The first set of documents were released by the Moscow Police Department through the City of Moscow, available for you on a website for free to review. The second are the Idaho State Police's records and also photographs that have been produced for you to read on a website completely free of charge. I want to bring a critical issue regarding timeline. Not timeline of the crimes, but timeline of when the lead detective for the Moscow Police Department arrived on scene at 1122 King Road. The first document that I would like to bring to your attention is the December 29th, 2022 Affidavit of Probable Cause. This is document 1, effectively, in the court case styled as Idaho versus Kohberger. It is the 18-page document that was signed under penalty of perjury by Detective Brett Payne on December 29th, 2022, and the last page of the 18 pages of this affidavit of probable cause asked for Mr. Kohberger's arrest warrant. Also that day, an order was entered by then Magistrate Judge, now District Court Judge in Latah County, Megan E. Marshall, finding probable cause based on Detective Payne's affidavit of probable cause, and also an arrest warrant was issued that day, December 29th, 2022, per Detective Payne's request. If we look at page 1 of the aforementioned affidavit of Detective Payne, he states very clearly here that he and Sergeant, now Captain for the Moscow Police Department, Dustin Blacker, arrived at 1122 King Road at 4 p.m. approximately that day. This would have been approximately 4 hours after the first responders arrived on scene. The very first was Officer Nunez, and then within the next few minutes of his arrival, which was just before noon or at noon on November 13th, 2022, he was joined by Officer Warner, Officer Smith, Sergeant Gunderson, Officer Snyder. Their reports are available for you to review on the aforementioned City of Moscow website. We have done reports on their narratives, the first responders from the Moscow Police Department, in previous content of the Indie Zone. None of them mention a sheath in any of their narratives, and the approximately 182 photographs of the scene that Officer Snyder stated he took shortly after his arrival, described in his report, none of them mention a sheath of the 15 photographs that he states he took in Madison Mogan's room. Getting back to the affidavit of probable cause, 4:00 p.m. on that dark November day is when Detective Payne signs under penalty of perjury, ladies and gentlemen, that he arrived on scene. This same information appears as an exhibit to the Pennsylvania Affidavit of Probable Cause that was signed also under penalty of perjury by 2 Pennsylvania state troopers, Leary and Knoll. They needed to ask for certain warrants to be issued in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And you see here the document that looks similar to the Affidavit of Probable Cause that was signed by Detective Brett Payne in Idaho. It also says here very clearly, Detective Payne arrived on scene at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, accompanied by Sergeant, now Captain Blacker, at 1122 King Road. However, in looking at a document that was recently released by the Idaho State Police, there appears to be a discrepancy in what the lead detective for the Idaho State Police, assigned to be in charge of the crime scene investigation, which the Idaho State Police led at 1122 King Road. According to him, this is Detective Jeffrey R. Talbott. He says here in a document filed by him, it's page 3 of 7, paragraph 1, on November 13th, 2022, PD requested ISP District 2 investigations to assist with multiple unalivings at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Latah County, Idaho. At about 12:34 p.m., ISP Sergeant Darren Gilbertson advised me of the request. I was assigned as the ISP lead crime scene investigators. Paragraph 2. At about 2:41 p.m., I arrived on scene. Already on scene were MPD Captain Roger Lanier, MPD Sergeant Dustin Blacker, Detective Payne, and multiple other MPD officers providing scene security. When exactly did Detective Payne, the lead investigator in the case for the Moscow Police Department, arrive on scene? Was it at 4 o'clock p.m., which is what the public understood since the beginning of 2023, when the Affidavit of Probable Cause was unsealed and released to the public, or was it at 2:41 p.m.? As Jeffrey R. Talbott, the lead detective for the crime scene investigation, documents here. I provide these opinions, these comments, speculation based on the documents that have been produced to the public in a case that is still largely sealed from the public. If you have any comments, any thoughts, any opinions on these matters, please leave them here. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.